Ambassador Marcus Rivera stood at the podium of the Galactic Council chamber, watching as 3,000 representatives from across the galaxy slowly rose to their feet. Tentacles waved, crystalline appendages chimed, and bioluminescent patches pulsed in what he had learned was universal applause. The irony wasn't lost on him. Humanity was being celebrated for breaking every rule the galaxy held sacred. It had started 6 months ago when the Zephyrian crisis reached critical mass. Their homeworld's core had begun destabilizing, threatening to take out half their solar system. The Galactic Emergency Protocol was clear. Evacuate what you can, accept the losses, maintain order. 3 billion Zephyrians would die, but that was preferable to the chaos of attempting an impossible rescue. Humanity had other ideas. Captain Elena Vasquez had been the first to violate protocol. When the evacuation fleet declared they could only save 40% of the population, she had looked at her crew of the UES Defiance and asked a simple question. Since when do we accept impossible? Within hours, human ships were converging on Zephyr Prime. Not just military vessels, cargo haulers, passenger liners, even repurposed mining barges. The Galactic Council sent increasingly frantic messages, demanding they cease their reckless endangerment of galactic stability. Humanity responded by working faster. Rivera remembered watching the feeds from his diplomatic post. Humans had torn apart their own ships, using the hull plating to create massive heat shields. They'd formed bucket brigades in space, passing Zephyrian children from transport to transport when the evacuation ships overloaded. When conventional ships couldn't reach the deep settlements, human miners had literally drilled through unstable planetary crust, following seismic maps that changed by the minute. The moment that broke every regulation simultaneously came when Chief Engineer Jake Thompson made his announcement. We're going to stabilize the core. The physics were impossible. The technology didn't exist. The risk of creating a chain reaction that could sterilize 3 systems was astronomical. Every galactic civilization had protocols specifically forbidding such attempts. Thompson's response had become legendary. Protocols don't save people. People save people. Using jury-rigged fusion torches and gravitational anchors that violated 17 separate treaties, human engineers had descended into Zephyr Prime's molten heart. They worked in shifts, replacing each other as radiation levels peaked, sharing equipment that should have killed them after minutes of exposure. They had no backup plan because they refused to accept that 3 billion lives were expendable. It worked. Not only had they stabilized the core, but they'd improved it. Zephyr Prime now generated 30% more energy than before the crisis. The impossible rescue had become an impossible resurrection. Now, 6 months later, Rivera faced the consequences of humanity's actions. The Zephyrian delegate's speech still echoed in the chamber. They saved us not because we were allies, not because of treaties or trade agreements, but because we needed saving. The Galactic Council had spent weeks debating humanity's fate. They had broken the Prime Directive of non-interference, violated sovereign space, ignored emergency protocols, and deployed unauthorized technology. By every legal standard, Earth should face severe sanctions. Instead, the galaxy was applauding. The Council President, an ancient ethereal whose species had written half the galaxy's laws, spoke with harmonics that translated as deep respect. In 3 million years of galactic civilization, no species has so thoroughly violated our established norms. And in 3 million years, no species has so perfectly embodied our highest aspirations. Rivera smiled as the standing ovation continued. Humanity hadn't just saved the Zephyrians. They'd reminded the galaxy what it meant to be alive in a universe where impossible was just another word for hasn't been done yet. Sometimes, breaking the rules was the most human thing you could do.